When we think about AGI, which is kind of this blending of artificial intelligence and trying to create these transhumans, how does that impact, I guess, the view of human beings? Obviously, there's a Judeo-Christian view of that, but how do you see that impacting just the view of human beings, human life, the value, worth, and dignity of human beings?
That's another key issue that was another driver for me in writing this book. Who am I as a human being? Because for the transhumanists, we are only one staging post in a possibly endless evolution of human beings into something higher, greater, cleverer, and all the rest of it. And I say I'm not very convinced about that, because we haven't shown a great deal of change in many centuries. That's first. Yeah. But much more important than that, it seems to me that we're faced with a worldview question. And we've in this area, really two main worldviews in contention. There's the atheist worldview, and it is the fact that atheism has a great influence in this whole arena. And then there's the theistic worldview, in my case, the Christian worldview. And that tells me, and this is believed, of course, by our Jewish and Muslim friends as well, that human beings are made in the image of God. And that gives them infinite value and worth. And therefore, I am concerned with artificial enhancements of existing human beings that begin to meddle in the very definition of what it is to be a human being. Now, as I'm talking to you, I have an enhancement sitting on my nose. It's my pair of glasses, and I might have contact lenses. And one can imagine all kinds of enhancements, hearing aids, and so on and so forth, speaking aids, etc. But that's one thing, and those are very positive things, and I do believe that Christians ought to be involved in their development, and certainly in many aspects of AI, and that's an important thing to say. I'm not against research in this. I'm very much for it. And if you want a brilliant example, if I may just make an aside at the moment, the work of Rosalind Picard, a brilliant scientist at MIT, she's a Christian believer, and she has a lab that is called affective computing. She's developed the whole theory herself, and she's using artificial intelligence to develop smart watches that predict if a child, for example, is about to have some kind of seizure or fit, and it's saving kids' lives. This is marvelous stuff to be involved in. So let none of our viewers think that I'm against involvement. I think we need Christians in there, not only doing the technology, but also able to relate to the ethical aspects of it. But my final point on this, although it's a very big topic, not only are humans created in the image of God, but they're utterly special for another reason. And the central claim of Christianity, amazing though it is, I believe it is absolutely true, is that God became human. So humans, if I might put it this way, are the kind of being that God can become. That makes them utterly unique. And that's why I think Jesus Christ is utterly unique in history. He was a man, but never a mere man, never only a man. He was God become human. And therefore, once more, starting to play around and play God, so to speak, particularly with the genetic construction of human beings. C.S. Lewis saw it a long time ago when he predicted, and he wrote a couple of brilliant books, one, That Hideous Strength, which is a science fiction book, interestingly, and another called The Abolition of Man. And he pointed out that if in the end we leave it to a group of scientists to specify the blueprint for all future human beings, they won't be human beings, they'll be artifacts. And he ends it with this chilling statement: the final triumph will be the abolition of man. And that's what I fear. that with all this hype, actually, in the end, it could destroy humanity. When all the time we're being offered this wonderful message that can bring peace to our hearts, can bring certainty of the future, and a guarantee of being, if I might put it that way, uploaded into a future world to enjoy an eternal relationship with the God who created us. But in order to be involved in that, we must face what is wrong with our human nature, our sin and rebellion against God, and we must face it and repent of it and trust Christ. That's a radical solution to a radical diagnosis. AI knows nothing of it, and therefore I fear is doomed to fail at that deeper level.